end of the road begins. Dang, that is a sad sentence for all of us who've been following Dom and the Fast crew for the last 20-something years. And I gotta say, we have questions as we gear up for the first of the final 2 chapters in this global franchise. Like 1, who's the villain and what does he want? 2, what characters are back and who's new? And 3, who is not making it out alive? So my family, fasten your seatbelts because this is everything you need to know before you go. So before we take a drive down memory lane, we want to give a shout out to all the newer folks. You may be asking yourself, okay, what is the Fast Saga all about?
It's already too late.
Okay, Dom, settle down. It's quite simple, really. It's about the cars, fast cars, romances, flag girls, but most importantly,
Family.
Dom Toretto and his family have been outwitting, outgritting, and outshifting their foes for 9 films now. So getting up to speed with our heroes might seem like a bit of an impossible task to anyone who hasn't kept up with the series. It's okay, we forgive you.
I smell skanks.
Staying true to character, Letty. But let's rewind to the film that started it all, The Fast and the Furious. This was our first introduction to the world of street racing and the lovable crew through the eyes of undercover cop Brian O'Connor, played by the late, great Paul Walker. As he fell in love with the people and underground world of fast cars, we fell in love right alongside him, and we've been hooked ever since.
You know the best decision I ever made was stepping into the store and buying that first sandwich?
And listen, we'd love to do a deep dive into all the films leading up to Fast 10, but because we don't have, 20 years, let's punch the nos and speed things up a little. From what we've seen in the Fast 10 trailers, it looks like the movie leans heavily on the Fast 5 climax, where Dom and Brian obliterate the film's baddie, Brazilian drug lord Hernan Reyes, using a giant safe. Ouch. Turns out Hernan's son, Dante, played by Jason Momoa, who looks like he's having a ball, emerges from the shadows as the most lethal opponent the crew will ever face, fueled by blood revenge as he seeks to destroy Dom and his
Family.
After the events of Fast 5, it's revealed in Fast and Furious 6 that the accidental death of beloved character Han Lu, who has the greatest hair in the franchise at the end of Tokyo Drift, was actually a murder by none other than Jason Statham's Deckard Shaw, who is a former MI6 agent turned mercenary and Furious 7's villain. But what the F? I mean, is that Han and Deckard teaming up? What is happening? If you're confused, let me uncross your wires. So Han's death was actually faked by government agent Mr. Nobody, played by Kurt Russell, who hired Han to steal some dangerous tech. All that to say, Han shows up, definitely alive, and not exploded in F9, surprising Dom, Roman, Tej, etc., who still thought he was dead. We're feeling it too, Ludacris. We're feeling it too. But why is baddie Deckard Shaw looking heroic? Well, let's just say that Fast Saga has a thing for turning some of their villains into the good-ish guys. So in the 8th installment, The Fate of the Furious, Deckard Shaw actually ends up saving the life of Dom's infant son from the notorious cyber terrorist Cipher, played by none other than Charlize Theron. Oh, what's that? You didn't know Dom was a daddy? Well, neither did he. Surprise, Dom! You are the father!
All this fuss over you.
Okay, so back to Cipher. By the looks of it, she's still hanging around in Fast X and annoying the crew, especially Letty Ortiz, Dom's longtime badass lover and now wife. Don't you just love a furious lady fight in these films? And this one looks like it doesn't disappoint.
Good morning, sunshine.
You gotta be kidding me.
It's possible there might be a Cipher Dante team up in this film, and that would be unfortunate. And you see that cute and worried looking kid there? Well, that's Dom's baby all grown up, who Dom aptly named Lil Brian, otherwise known as Lil B after his original partner in crime, Brian O'Connor.
Hey, thought you could leave without saying goodbye.
Aw, but this first Fast 10 trailer has us a bit worried, because we know Dante is after blood, and we're thinking he means bloodline, specifically targeting Lil B.
I'm coming for you, son.
And we know from F9 that all Dom wants is to be a normal family man and retire and raise little Brian and love his wife Letty and have backyard barbecues and drink Coronas and drive American muscle cars. I mean, is that too much to ask? Just let him live happily ever after, people. But his estranged brother Jacob, played by the incredibly charismatic John Cena, doesn't get the memo and turns up as a power-hungry terrorist agent sick of living in his big brother's shadow, forcing Dom back into the driver's seat once again to save the day.
You might want to buckle up.
Buckle up indeed, Dom, especially because we're getting whiplash, as it looks like John Cena's Jacob is officially a good guy now in the second Fast 10 trailer and taking his sweet nephew on a cannon car joyride. And honestly, thank God for Cena's Jacob, because it looks like he might offer a bit of comic relief, as he does in most films, in Fast 10. Because watching the first trailer, it kind of sounds like we're gonna get emotionally punched in the nuts.
That's the problem with having such a big family. How do you choose the ones you save?
Don't worry, Lil B, we're a little afraid too. I mean, who's gonna die in this film? We may need to bring a box of tissues because some big characters' lives feel like they're genuinely at stake, like permanently. And to make us even more nervous, here's what director Louis Leterrier said, quote, "Not every character will make it out of Fast 10 alive. There's a war brewing, it's coming to an end, and it is a race to the finish. There will be some tremendous casualties." I mean, sir, did you have to use the word tremendous? I mean, look at the returning characters. Besides these two and a few newbies, we've come to really love this rambunctious and hard to kill group. I mean, sure, we love the crazy car stunts and drag races, the villains, the wild twists and turns, but it really all always comes down to these people, these characters who've really become family. And if you really think about it, there are so many A-listers in one film that are all major characters. Here is what the man himself, Vin Diesel, had to say about it.
I don't think 20 years ago we would have ever imagined that there would be a long line of Oscar winners that would want to come be a part of this mythology. And I always ask myself, what is it that makes people want to be a part of this mythology?
And that is the beauty of a franchise this size over this many years. It feels special and we love it. Other returning characters that we're really excited to see are Shaw's mom, Queenie Shaw, played by the iconic Helen Mirren, Elle from F9, played by Anna Sawai, Sean Boswell, played by Lucas Black, Buddy, played by Michael Rooker, Little Nobody, played by Scott Eastwood, and Cardi B as Lisa. And shout out to our new homies, Brie Larson's making her debut as Tess, a rogue agent from the agency. Rita Moreno is gonna be Dom, Mia, and Jacob's Abuelita Toretto. Alan Richson as Ames, the new agency boss. And Daniela Melchior as a Brazilian street racer from Dom's past. And obviously Dante is new, but we hope he stays true to his name and dies Inferno style before he causes us too much grief.
Wow, you guys are going to hell.
Now, three people who probably aren't coming back are Kurt Russell's Mr. Nobody because he blew up, but we all know that doesn't necessarily mean he's dead in this saga. Gal Gadot's Giselle, cause also dead, but could be a fun surprise return for Han. And then of course, Dwayne Johnson. And even though Paul Walker passed away during the filming of Furious 7, his character Brian is still alive in the franchise, as we saw in F9 with him turning up for the family barbecue in his classic blue car. We will most likely see a tribute to him in this film because this year marks 10 years since the death of Paul Walker, and this next installment will include a special cameo from his daughter Meadow.
It's never goodbye.
As previously mentioned, coming to the franchise is director Louis Leterrier, who signed on after beloved writer-director Justin Lin parted ways. Now, Lin remains on board as one of the co-writers and producers, but we're feeling good about Leterrier as he notably directed the first two Transporter films, Now You See Me, The Incredible Hulk, and so much more. And Michelle Rodriguez recently said the French director brought, quote, an energy of love to the production, and that cast and the crew were lucky to have him. And from the trailers alone, it looked like he really clicked with this franchise. Get it? Clicked, like clicking a seatbelt. Okay, I will see myself out now.
I said forget about it, cuz.
But before I go, remember, there will be cars, fast cars, romances, black girls, and family. And so, my family, that is everything you need to know before you go see Fast 10 in theaters May 19th. I'm your host, Naz Perez, and be sure to rate and review Fast 10 at RottenTomatoes.com.